North Macedonia is a beautiful gem on the Balkan Peninsula, with millennia of cultural impact by some of the biggest empires and a relatively affordable cost of living. Yet, like so much of the area, it is still kind of a secret, so let's change that today. Let me introduce North Macedonia to you. Its history, where to stay, what to do, cost of living, and of course digital nomad infrastructure, first and foremost internet. As usual, you will find timestamps down below in the description so you can jump back and forth between topics, as well as links to the activities that I mentioned and other tools for your digital nomad lifestyle. North Macedonia, or officially the Republic of North Macedonia, is a landlocked country in southeastern Europe. It shares land borders with Kosovo, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece, and Albania. It is neither part of the EU nor the Schengen zone, making it the perfect spot for you to wait out your Schengen clock if you choose to do so. It is a nature lover's paradise with mesmerizingly glittering lakes, high, snowy mountain peaks, and lush green valleys. Hiking for days in the untouched nature is easily done in the well-kept, beautiful national parks. History buffs can explore the culture and architecture left behind by Romans and Ottomans, as well as almost 1,000 monasteries and churches. The language spoken in North Macedonia is Macedonian, though English is widely spoken, particularly amongst the younger generation. Reading, however, is a little bit of a different topic since Macedonian uses the Cyrillic script. Actually, the Cyrillic script was invented here. But fear not, street signs and such are also written in the Latin letters. North Macedonia's currency is the Macedonian dinar, and currently $1 equals 57.49 Macedonian dinar. North Macedonia is also the birthplace of some pretty important figures. Mother Teresa, though Albanian by nationality, was born here, for example, as was Alexander the Great, the greatest emperor of all times. Which brings us to sensitive territory, North Macedonia's name, which until February 2019 was the Republic of Macedonia. This led to a major dispute with neighboring Greece because of the Greek territory named Macedonia. Eventually, North Macedonia's name was changed to what it is today. What many discount for when explaining the name change is that the dispute goes much deeper than this. It goes back to Alexander the Great, as he is commonly known, or Alexander III of Macedon, the emperor that created one of the biggest, if not the biggest empire in history, all the way to India to be precise, before dying at the young age of 33. Well, Greeks claim him to be Greek. Macedonians claim him to be, yeah, you guessed it, Macedonian, and them being his true descendants. So honestly, I don't want to get deeper into this topic because there really is no way of not kind of insulting somebody, but I thought it was an important and interesting fact to know when learning about the history, the cultural roots of the country. On the other hand, North Macedonia has a nationality dispute with its other neighbor, Bulgaria, with Bulgaria viewing North Macedonia basically as Bulgarian. Not in terms of state sovereignty so much, but when it comes to national and cultural roots, while North Macedonians identify themselves as Macedonian and thus separate from Bulgaria. This has its roots in the decline of the Ottoman Empire that, as mentioned, ruled over North Macedonia as well as Bulgaria and basically the entire region all the way up to Armenia. So, the Ottoman Empire ruled the entire region. But in 1878, the Principality of the Autonomous State of Bulgaria was established in the Ottoman Empire, thus making Bulgaria somewhat independent. The Bulgarians claimed Macedonia to be part of their national territory. However, so did Greece, as well as Serbia. During the First and Second Balkan Wars in 1912 and 1913, Bulgaria allied with Greece, Serbia and Montenegro to defeat the Ottoman Empire, which kinda was at its end at that point anyways, and even managed to claim a small part of North Macedonia's territory, while the rest of the territory was claimed by Greece and Serbia. Serbia's part of Macedonia would shortly after become part of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, whose history I have touched upon from many angles in the different Balkan Digital Nomad Destination guides. This is also the area that today actually is the Republic of North Macedonia. Macedonia thus became an independent country, the Socialist Republic of Macedonia within the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, which in 1963 then became the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. It consisted of Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, Montenegro, and Macedonia. Macedonia made a distinct effort over the years to foster a separate national identity, culture, and language from Bulgaria, with Macedonian actually being registered as a separate language from Bulgarian in 1977. And then, when Yugoslavia began to collapse in the early 1990s, Macedonia decided to seek independence, which it declared on the 8th of September 1991. The only independence in the Yugoslav Republic that thankfully was achieved without any bloodshed. So, the country decided to call itself the Republic of Macedonia, which, as mentioned in the beginning, immediately outraged Greece, because they felt that the newly formed Republic of Macedonia was setting up a move for the Greek territory of Macedonia, the territory of the old Macedonia that Greece claimed from the Ottomans. As a result, Greece blocked the new country from entering all significant international organizations, such as NATO. And for years, the country was calling itself Republic of Macedonia, while officially being referred to as the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia by the UN. The dispute only settled when the country agreed to rename itself to the Republic of North Macedonia in 2018. So, after almost 30 years of dispute, North Macedonia hoped to now finally be able to start negotiations to become, for example, an EU member. But as soon as Greece backed down, Bulgaria stepped in, boycotting North Macedonia's attempts, claiming that North Macedonians, their language and culture were basically Bulgarian. There also were some disputes over clauses in the North Macedonian constitution and fears North Macedonia would try and interfere in Bulgaria's internal affairs. These were settled. Nevertheless, the relation between the two countries is tense, and they even fight over the nationalities of important figures of history, whether these were Macedonian or Bulgarian. So you can probably see how this ongoing dispute of questioning North Macedonia's national identity and the repeated concessions to neighboring EU member countries North Macedonia has been forced to make might be very frustrating. Internet is widely available in the bigger cities, but the speed and connection quality varies greatly. And in smaller cities, you might not be able to find Wi-Fi at all. You should therefore absolutely buy a local SIM card, which are relatively inexpensive. Mobile internet is also of much higher speed than broadband. According to the Speed Test Global Index, North Macedonian median country speed in January 2023 ranked as followed. Mobile internet ranked in spot 27, with download speeds averaging 65.77 megabits per second and upload speed 18.96 megabits per second. Broadband, on the other hand, ranked in spot 108, with download speeds of 30.9 megabits per second and upload speeds of 12.9 megabits per second. Infrastructure. North Macedonia has two international airports, one in the capital of Skopje and one in Ohrid, though you will most likely be landing in Skopje if you arrive on an international flight. If you are planning to travel the entire region, it might be nice to know that Macedonia is part of the Interrail network. European kids often go on interrail trips throughout Europe after they finish high school, and it is a great and inexpensive way to see the continent because you can buy a pass that allows you to hop on and off trains all over Europe. So Northern Macedonia is well connected to its neighbors, with the most popular routes going to Belgrade in Serbia, which is another great digital nomad destination that I will link up here for you, and Thessaloniki in Greece. For travel within the country and even to the neighboring countries, a rental car will afford you the most freedom to go even to the more remote areas and stop wherever you fancy. There are also some well-organized tours to major attractions, with most of them starting from either Skopje or Ohrid. Here you will have a knowledgeable guide and everything is organized for you. And of course, if you want for a more local experience and or are on a budget, you could travel like many of the locals on overland bus. In terms of accommodation, you can find all the common accommodation options in North Macedonia. Hostels, hotels, Airbnbs, and rental apartments if you wish to stay for a longer time frame. Alright then, let's talk about the cost of living, shall we? A family of 4 is estimated to pay $1,576 without rent per month. A single person is estimated to pay $471 per month without rent. Let's break that up a little, shall we? A meal in an inexpensive restaurant will cost you approximately $4.34. A monthly transport pass will cost you $24.33, although chances are you won't need one. Taxi starting tariff is 87 cents, and a 1 kilometer taxi ride will cost you 57 cents. Basic utilities for an 85 square meter apartment will cost you $119 per month, and internet will cost you $17 per month. A 1-bedroom apartment in the city center will cost you on average $225 per month, and the same apartment would cost you $163 outside of the city center per month. Well, now that we've covered that, let's look at where you could live. Where could you make your digital nomad home base from which to work in peace, but also have a good starting point to travel around? And here, the first one is definitely the capital, Skopje. A quarter of the country's population lives in Skopje, the country's capital, and this is probably the best place for your digital nomad home base as well. After its independence, Skopje underwent a rather interesting transformation, with the president deciding in 2014, much to the disdain of quite a few of his countrymen, to spruce up the capital to lift people's mood amongst economic disparities and distress. And as a result, Skopje now is a capital of ginormous statues. You can literally stand in almost any spot in the city center and be surrounded by statues, no matter which direction you look. Some of them remind of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris or the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. He really did not discriminate in where he took inspiration from. Even many of the building's facades were covered with Art Deco details to make them look nicer. One of the statues is the world's biggest statue of Alexander the Great. Greece wasn't happy about that one, and the statue is being called Warrior on a Horse, though everyone is pretty sure of who is depicted here. Fear not, however, a much more authentic Skopje awaits you on the other bank of the river Vardar. Here, Ottoman influences are everywhere. Streets are windy and small, and the large old bazaar, supposedly the largest in the region after Istanbul, pays homage to the 500 years of Ottoman occupation that have left a clear cultural, architectural, and culinary mark on the city. Just like the entire country, Skopje is small, meaning that you can easily get around walking and relying on public transport. The city also offers co-working spaces to connect with the growing digital nomad and expat community here, as well as a dedicated Facebook group you should check to make some friends. And of course, you will also find everything else you might expect from city life. Gyms, cafes, bars, restaurants, clubs, shopping, theater, whatever your heart desires. Furthermore, Skopje is a playground for people interested in history. It was founded by the Macedonians in the 7th century BC, though traces of life here go back to 4000 BC. It has also seen many invasions. I already mentioned the Ottomans, who also left behind some grand mosques. You can also discover some beautiful Roman ruins, as well as visit some stunning Orthodox churches here. Speaking of history, if you'd like to know more about the country, as well as its view on its neighbors, head to the Museum of North Macedonia, where you can learn a lot about the region. It is located in the old train station of Skopje, And if you are taken aback by the time shown on the museum's clock, you aren't wrong. It is showing 5:17 in memory of 5:17 a.m. on July the 26th of 1963, the day when Skopje was hit by a 6.1 moment magnitude earthquake, which destroyed over 80% of the city, killed over 1,000 people, injured 1,000 more, and left more than 200,000 people homeless. And then, of course, there are all the beautiful trips you can take from Skopje. This is actually a great benefit of North Macedonia being so small. You can travel quite a bit of it and always return to your base, Skopje. Visit one of the oldest and deepest natural lakes in Europe, Lake Ohrid. Come here for some water sports, a swim, or just to marvel at the unbelievably clear water. The largest city on Lake Ohrid is the city of Ohrid, which also is the 8th largest city in the country and a popular destination to stay for a couple of days. It is also more authentic and less kitschy than Skopje. Here are some things to do in Ohrid. Follow the boardwalk around the lake to take a relaxing walk and stop at one of the many beaches to take a quick dip in the crystal clear water. If you want to go for a dive in Lake Ohrid, you can even find leftovers from ancient civilizations long ago. It is an archaeological site. You will see wooden pillars that still stand proud in the water, put here in the Bronze Age to hold up houses, shards of old vases or cups, and coins. What an adventure! After that, you can head to the reconstructed Bronze Age settlement, the Bay of Bones, an archaeological museum on the lake. Here you can see how these artifacts that you might have just seen on your diving tour were used and what life was like back in the days. One of the most important churches in the country is also located in Ohrid, the Church of Saint Sophia. Head inside to marvel at the beautiful Byzantine frescoes that it is covered in top to bottom. Another church worth a visit and one of the most photographed spots in all of the country is the Church of St. John in Caneo. It is located on a cliff over Caneo Beach and the view is just absolutely jaw-dropping. And as the last, but certainly not least impressive historical landmark, head to Samuel's fortress in the Old Town. Ohrid was actually the capital of the Bulgarian Empire, and the fortress was built during the ruling of Tsar Samuel at the turn of the 11th century. Now, let's look at some of the country's beautiful nature before moving on to the visa details. First on the list, National Park Galicica. This impressive national park is located at the border with Albania, by the mountain Galicica, which North Macedonia actually shares with Albania. If you want to spend a couple of days away from the city and submerged in nature, this is your place. It offers a vast amount of hiking and biking trails. It is also situated between the two biggest lakes of the country, Lake Ohrid and Lake Prespa, rewarding you with stunning views over the lakes and the mountain peaks. Close to Skopje, you will find another beautiful, though during the peak summer month also quite touristy natural attraction. Matka Canyon, one of the largest canyons in Europe. Come here for a nature escape and to enjoy some hiking. You can also go kayaking and rock climbing in the impressive nature. And you will even find some beautiful old monasteries hidden away in the greenery. The canyon is situated in the Greater Matka National Park, which hides another super impressive natural site. It's home to Cave Vrelo, the deepest underwater cave in the world, located on Treska River. It's believed to be around 330 feet deep, and it was nominated one of the 7 world wonders. You can scuba dive it if you like. And then, of course, let's not forget to mention that North Macedonia, like the entire region, has a very good winemaking culture. With many vineyards you can visit, learn about the craft, and of course taste test. Okay, let's talk about visa details. Well, at the moment, unfortunately, there is no Digital Nomad Visa to North Macedonia. However, it is in discussion and supported by the Fund for Technological Development and Innovation. The visa is going to allow digital nomads to stay 1 year in the country with the possibility of extension. Until then, your best chance will be to use a tourist visa, which will allow most passport holders to stay in the country for 90 days. In total, this applies to 70 countries, with another 35 being able to get a visa through the e-visa system. All others will have to go through an embassy. If you feel like you need or want to stay in North Macedonia longer than the 90 days, of course you could visit one of the neighboring countries and then come back for a return visit. Border runs, which are possible in many countries, are not possible in North Macedonia to extend your stay, because you can only stay 90 days out of 180 days. So you will always have to wait 90 days before returning to the country. However, if you like the region and are considering North Macedonia as a travel destination, why not check out one of the other beautiful Balkan countries while you wait for your return visa? Up here, for example, you will find another video to Serbia, which is also an absolute digital nomad gem of a country. And if you want to dive deeper into Central Asia, keep an eye out for my next coming video, which is going to be about the amazing and interesting state of Azerbaijan. Till then, thanks for today, and I'll see you here in the next one. Bye bye.